The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. This is a quote by Leo Tolstoy. And I really like this quote because depending on, what lens you're looking at it through, or how you frame it, or how you frame your life, you can take this quote to mean a couple of different things. We can either look at patience and time and we can pit them against each other, meaning I'm going to either have patience or I have time, or we can marry them together, right? What happens when we marry them together? When we marry patience and time, we end up waiting with an expectation, and we wait eagerly for the thing that we are looking to build, to produce fruit, right? For the thing that we are looking to come into to be established, right? That is a beautiful thing. No matter how long it is, I have to wait. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to work while I wait. And as I work while I wait, I'm going to wait with a good attitude, and then I'm going to step into my blessing. Or we take them, what most people usually do, we say, okay, I'm gonna have patience, but I'm only gonna have patience for X amount of time, right? We don't give it the time that it needs. And now it says, I have patience, but time is up against me. I need to get this thing. This creates an urgency. And when you create that urgency inside your life, you start moving in different ways that might compromise your character and integrity, right? If you're a breadwinner at home, what happens if you get laid off from your job? You get laid off from your job, you start pressing. You're like, listen, I got to bring this money in. I don't know how I'm going to get it. I don't know where the next paycheck is going to come in. So I got to go do what I got to do. And now we know what happens when hungry people got to eat. It is what it is. It's a reality in the game. If you from certain places, people start doing things that they're going to get the money whenever they need it. But if you just say, okay, I'm going to stick to the process, I'm going to patiently wait, and I'm going to go out through the process of how I know how to legit make money. I don't have to compromise my character. I don't have to go do things that are, beneath me in order to make this money. Or what happens when you don't trust the people, or you don't trust the process around you to build the thing that you want to build. You're trying to build a business and you're like, listen, I'm going to delegate, I'm going to look, but then that person starts to do the thing that they know how to do in their expertise. You start micromanaging, you start overlooking, and then now you push certain buttons that now cause you to be separated from the end result, the end product. And this is what happens when we have a world of expectation, right? This microwave mentality where I put something in and I get instant results rather than watching the law of process play out. And in that law of process, we have to be patient. Same thing gardeners do when they actually are planting seeds, right? Gardeners plant seeds and then they do everything necessary before they ever see the fruit come, right? Remember, when you plant apple seeds, you don't get apples, you get the tree first, and then the tree has to produce fruit, right? So in the same way, we have to patiently wait. So when we're talking about patience, I wanted to bring you to a story in the Bible that we all pretty much know. I want to draw your attention between two characters in the Bible that we can learn something great from to apply to our lives. Saul and David, right? So we look at the contrast between the two of them in their similarities. So Saul, we all know Saul was the first anointed king of Israel, right? God chose Saul through Samuel. He said, go anoint that man, and I'm going to make his kingdom last forever. Samuel gave him instructions. In 1 Samuel chapter 10, Samuel anoints him, then he gives him instructions. He says, go down this way. And, after 7 days, I'm going to come and offer a burnt offering for you. He says this in 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 8. You shall go down before me to Gilgal, and surely I will come down to offer a burnt offering and make sacrifices and peace offering. 7 days you shall wait till I come to you and show you what you should do. So Samuel has anointed Saul king. He's the king. He's going to reign. And then he gave him instructions on what to do when he gets down there. Now we know as the story develops, he gets down there. He's reigning as king. He's there for like 2 years. And then he starts about to go to war with the Philistines, right? And they just surround, like they come deep, right? They surround the whole kingdom and the village or whatever. And they're deep. And Saul is looking around. He's like, all right, we got to do something about this, right? And it's day 7. It's day 7 on beyond where Samuel told him to come, right? So he's on that day 7. And then Saul is like, we got to do something about this. I need to go make a petition to the Lord. So he goes and offers the burnt offerings on his own, right? Remember, Samuel the prophet already gave him instruction by God. This is what you need to do. And in 1 Samuel 13, I'll just read verses 13 and 14. He says, Saul went and made the burnt offering before Samuel got there. And Samuel said to Saul, "You have done foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God, which he commanded you. For now the Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever. But now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought for himself a man after his own heart, and the Lord has commanded him to be commander over his people, because you have not kept what the Lord has commanded you." So we see that in his haste to make something happen, in his haste in his urgency of the circumstances, right? He's seeing people surrounding me. I'm king. I got to do something about this. I was given instructions, but I'm not starting to see the fruit of those instructions on what's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and take matters into my own hand. Him taking matters into his own hand got that kingdom snatched away from him. He was supposed to be established forever. It got it snatched away from him. Then we see, starting in 16, we see where David is anointed king. And David is anointed king as like a teenager. He's like 15, 16 years old. He's anointed king. And throughout David's entire life, he goes through the training of basically anything that God has him. God has him out in the wilderness, killing bears and lions. He steps up and ends up serving Saul. And he's serving Saul throughout his time. Saul then starts to chase him. And he's like, yo, I got the anointing of king on my head. Like, I'm the next king of Israel, but I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to do what I need to do. He has two opportunities to take Saul's head off, right? Clean off with a sword. He doesn't. He even shows him a piece of his robe. He's like, listen, I could have killed you. I could have killed you, but I was chilling. And then we see in 2 Samuel, David actually takes his throne, right? So David waited throughout turmoil, throughout the process. He stuck to the process. He stuck to what it meant to be able to build himself in God. He stuck to continue to pursue God with his own heart and try to walk in his commandments and his statutes, just like he said, even in service to the person who was taking his throne, even in service, even in fleeing from the person who was chasing him, because he knew he was going to take his throne, right? He's saying, this is what it looks like to be patient. This is what it looks like to wait. This is what it looks like to then step into your blessing, right? So we have the contrast. Saul, he was given a promise, and then he was given a process, and all he had to do was have patience, 7 days. And in those 7 days, he couldn't wait long enough to the appointed time for him to step into his blessing. And then we have David. David was anointed and then basically said nothing, but he went through the process because he had the promise, and he knew at the end he'd be able to step into his position and be able to take his throne as king, and he was able to get the blessing. So we need to look at it when we evaluate the areas of our life, our relationships, our business, finance, interacting with people, in what area, right? If you're trying to compound stack your money, if you're trying to meet someone new, if you are trying to build ministry, whatever, I don't care what it is, right? Are you exercising the fruit of the spirit, patience, right? That long suffering, dealing with the process before you take the next step? Are you sitting in a space before you take the next step? Because we see when you don't sit in that space, when you don't allow yourself to go through the pruning process, you can lose everything that was actually meant for you. People say this all the time, but I'm going to tell you it's absolutely wrong. What was meant to be does not always have to be. We see Saul was meant to be king. Saul was meant to have his lineage established. Saul stepped outside of the promise. Saul stepped outside of the position that he was told to be in, and he lost it, right? He lost what was meant for him, what he was called to do. So it's not always what is meant to be, it will be. It's what part do I have to play? And a lot of times with God, it's hurry up and wait. It's hurry up and wait. And I know that's so frustrating for us as believers, but sometimes he'll give you the call, and then he'll wait before he gives you instruction. He'll give you the promise, and then he'll wait before he gives you the strategy. So we have to be able to take our time while we're waiting. We have to wait with a patient attitude for all things, right? So we started it off with a little quote. I just wanted to jump on here real quick and say that. I want to end with this. This is a quote by Gandhi. He says, "To lose patience is to lose the battle." So don't lose your patience. Don't lose the practice of exercising your patience in a moment or in a season, so that you don't lose your blessing, right? So until next time, let's look to advance the kingdom in our lives and in the ones that we touch. And go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this if you found value with someone who is looking to exercise patience in their life.